So Jake Paul actually had something nice to say about Dana White. Are they best friends now? What's up, it's Ant Walker here with Ringside Intel, and let's talk about the latest news involving Jake Paul and Dana White. As you may know, one of the simmering feuds that has gone on in combat sports for some years now has been between Jake Paul and UFC CEO Dana White. In an appearance on the Full Send podcast, Jake Paul actually broke that tradition by saying something nice about Dana White. He actually found common ground with White based on his speech at the Republican National Convention, where Dana White introduced longtime friend, former President Donald Trump. And he said, and I quote, "We agree on so many things, and I think he has a great side of him, and I'm sure we'd be friends. Maybe in this life, maybe in a different life." Which is obviously a complete 180 from making a literal diss track and music video accompanying it. So what's exactly the angle here? Or is this genuinely an olive branch that's being extended? As I tend to do in a lot of these situations, I think the truth lies somewhere in the middle. There's definitely common ground between the two for a variety of reasons, one of which is the obvious political ideologies. They're both supporters of the Republican Party, Donald Trump in particular, and as election season heats up, it does make sense that people with the same sort of belief systems do group together or at least view each other with a more positive outlook. Also, they're both fight promoters. Obviously, Dana White is the face of the UFC and has been for many years at this point, and Jake Paul has emerged as one of the consistently successful promoters in the fight game as of late. So of course, there's some sort of synergy there. There are things that those two can relate with, and as Jake Paul grows in his journey as a promoter, probably feels he has a lot more in common with Dana White than he did previously. But that angle, there's got to be an angle, right? And I think we kind of know what the angle is as we get deeper into that interview. You may remember after he knocked out Mike Perry in his last fight, Jake Paul made a surprising call out, and that was to the UFC's light heavyweight champion, Alex Pereira. He even FaceTimed him immediately after the fight. So what does it all mean? Possibly nothing, but where there's smoke, there could be a little fire there. This interview was released on August 5th, and that happens to be the same date that some very disturbing news broke out involving Alex Pereira. So obviously he has some more important issues to deal with, but from Jake Paul's perspective here, maybe this is some sort of attempt to make that call out a reality. The very obvious roadblock in making a Jake Paul and Alex Pereira boxing match is sort of that ironclad contract that UFC fighters are under, pretty much restricting them from doing anything outside of the octagon. But Paul made a very good point. The UFC made an exception for Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather for one reason and one reason alone. It was going to make a lot of money. And in Jake Paul's eyes, this too could make a whole lot of money. If the UFC is all about making money, they'd be willing to let this happen. But if it were up to me, and Jake Paul and Dana White are destined to be business besties, then I'd rather the man who signed the PFL convince Dana to let this John Jones and Francis Ngannou fight happen. So what do you think? Is Jake Paul actually softening his stance on Dana White? Or is it all a ploy just to get at the negotiating table? Remember to like, subscribe, share, tell a friend to tell a friend, tell that friend to tell 10 more friends. Stay locked in the Ringside Intel. I'm Ant Walker. Peace.